Well, fallout continues over Attorney General Jeff Sessions declining to appoint a second special counsel to look into alleged FBI surveillance abuse, along with some other issues. Now, lawmakers with mixed reactions to Sessions, instead tapping federal attorney John Huber of Utah to review the allegations. Harvard Law professor emeritus Alan Dershowitz saying that he was opposed to the appointment of special counsel Robert Mueller in the first place because any investigation should always start at the Justice Department.
We have to make sure we never confuse political sins with federal crimes. And I think this is going about it the right way, in a calibrated, step-by-step way. I think it would have been, look, the answer to having one bad appointment of a special counsel is not to make a second bad appointment of the special counsel.
And with me now is Judge Andrew Napalito, Fox News senior judicial analyst. Great to be able to talk with you today.
Good morning, my dear friend.
So do you agree? Was this a wise decision?
Well, it depends on how you characterize the decision. So Attorney General Jeff Sessions has appointed the United States Attorney for Utah, John Huber, to investigate the potential violations of law by the FBI when they made applications to the FISA court, and the potential, shall we say, favoritism to Mrs. Clinton by the FBI and the DOJ when she was investigated in Uranium One and in the email scandal, two different investigations.
Okay.
Now, there are two things that could happen here. Either Mr. Huber can come to Washington, D.C., in which case he gets about a half dozen federal prosecutors and about a dozen FBI agents and becomes a de facto special counsel, and they impanel a grand jury and they present evidence to a grand jury, or he can stay in Utah. But if he stays in Utah, he's hamstrung, and here's why. The problem with the investigations of Hillary Clinton, Uranium One, and email was that James Comey and the federal prosecutors working with him never impaneled a grand jury. Why do you need a grand jury? You need a grand jury to present evidence to and to get subpoenas from. And if subpoenas don't work, you then go to a federal judge and get a search warrant. Without a grand jury, no subpoenas, no search warrant. That was a major flaw in the Hillary Clinton investigations. If John Huber's in Utah and impanels a grand jury in Utah, it has no jurisdiction over what happens in Washington, D.C., so it can't subpoena people to testify.
Know that?
Yes, I am sure that Jeff Sessions knows that. So this is why it's a little confusing as to what he did. Did he name a de facto special counsel, meaning he's a special counsel in everything but name, which means Huber comes to Washington? Or is Huber going to stay in Utah, which is what Jeff Sessions said he would do in his letter announcing the appointment of Mr. Huber, in which case he is basically toothless, because without a grand jury, or without a grand jury with jurisdiction, you cannot conduct an adequate criminal investigation. That's criminal law 101.
Well, President Trump's not very happy about it. He tweeted out today, we have this additional tweet that came in. He said, so sad that the Department of Justice and the FBI are slow walking or even not giving the unredacted documents requested by Congress, an embarrassment to our country.
I don't blame the president for being upset, but the president can cure this with a phone call. You know, the last time an attorney general had a dispute with Congress over documents, it was Eric Holder and the Fast and Furious documents. The House of Representatives held Attorney General Holder in contempt, and then nothing happened. They didn't get the documents, and nothing happened to him. But they're two different political parties. When they're in the same political party, Republicans control the Congress, and we have a Republican in the White House, the president should just pick up the phone and say, hey, Jeff, send them the documents they are looking for. We don't need 54 FBI agents working 24/7 examining the documents.
How do you feel about, because one of the arguments that's used in all of this is that, you know, Attorney Huber investigating his bosses, that won't work.
That's the reason that Jeff Sessions recused himself in the Russia investigation. He has been grilled for 2 days by Bob Mueller's prosecutors and FBI agents. He can't possibly be grilled by people who work for him. So he has to stay out of the investigation as well. Will he have to stay out of the investigation of FISA? Probably. Will he have to stay out of the investigation of of the favoritism apparently shown to Mrs. Clinton? No, because he was in the Senate at the time. That happened in the Obama administration.
Now, one of the other things that we were discussing, because it was a little confusing to me, because the IG came out Wednesday and said that they are going to handle or investigate this FISA, issues with FISA.
Okay, the IG, the Inspector General of the Justice Department, think of it like a internal affairs in a police department.
Right.
His job, he has a staff of about 500 people. His job is to investigate whether or not others in the DOJ, FBI, or other employees of the Department of Justice violated Justice Department procedure.
Okay.
He does not investigate for violations of criminal law because he doesn't have a grand jury and he can't subpoena and he can't charge. John Huber, the prosecutor from Utah,
would still be handling FISA in that respect.
Yes, but he can't do it from Utah because his grand jury in Utah cannot reach documents and people in D.C.
Interesting. So we will definitely see what happens next.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Judge.
More controversy. Always a pleasure.
Imagine that.